Hi everybody, this is the Flat Cap Cafe Racer. Got an announcement here to make today, and many of you know that I about a month and a half ago I got two bikes stolen. My Tiger 2021 Tiger 900 and my BMW R9T were stolen. I just recently replaced the Tiger 2021 Tiger with a 2023 Tiger, and today I have a replacement for the BMW, so stand by. Meerkat. Well, obviously on the BMW, it was a R9T/5. It was a 2020 bike, but it was a 2019 anniversary, 50th anniversary edition, so I won't be replacing that bike. I didn't get enough money to do that. But sometimes events conspire and things fall into place that you can make a move, and that's what I did. Some of you are able to tell what kind of bike I'm riding right now, and so shh, be quiet, don't tell everybody else. I've been considering this brand since 2009, but every time I went to buy the bike, I ended up buying something else because of they didn't have the bike I wanted, or the dealership went out of business, or so far away. They build this brand builds a lovely cafe racer, which I liked. Then there was a touring bike that I kind of liked. Then there was an adventure bike I kind of liked. Then there's this new sport tour, which I did like very much. As some of you already know, that I do ride with several of my friends, and two of my friends have this brand, and I've been able to ride them over the last 5 years. In fact, I've ridden this model from Mr. Bill he had a long time ago. Up until now, I haven't ever really found myself close enough to pull the trigger until today. Then I purchased a used 2008 Moto Guzzi Sport 1200. Yeah, that's right, a Moto Guzzi. Now, it's not new. It has 8,700 miles on it, and I'm the third owner. And if you watch one of my videos where you can buy some of your bikes, one of the things I mentioned was buying it from a dealer. I bought it from my Triumph dealer when I was going up for my 600-mile service on my Tiger 900. This bike, this 1200 Cafe Racer, and a California were traded in by the same person for a new Tiger 900. Now, the Moto Guzzi dealers haven't moved any closer, and they're still a long ways away from where we're at right now. I think the closest one's about 300 miles, and could be as much as 500 miles too. So I knew I wasn't going to have enough money to buy one of the new Moto Guzzis, and be quite frank, there's some things I like about the new Moto Guzzis, and there's some things I don't like. So there's a lot more that I do like about this 2008 than I don't like. And in 2008, this bike, I'm showing it retail for $13,590. But you know, I've got this one at a significantly lower price than that, and that's well within my budget. And I know Mr. Bill will be quite happy that I bought it, because he thinks it's going to keep me from getting a supercharger, but I'm not so sure about that. The 2008 offers some good things. You know, you got the fuel injection, but you don't have ABS, and you don't have like riding modes, and I don't know that you need one. But it has just the basic technology. So I'm going to pull over here so we can do a quick walk around the bike before discussing any changes, any kind of maintenance or cleaning I'm going to be doing on the bike. Let's start with the engine. Moto Guzzi guys know this is a 90-degree transverse twin, fuel injected, 2 spark plugs per each cylinder. It's a 2-valve motor. It's a push rod motor. 1151 cc's. The bike pretty much is most of the power is between 5,000 or 6,000 RPMs. It's an over square engine, which means the bore is larger than the stroke. It's supposed to put out 95 horsepower at the crank and 74 foot-pounds of torque. I rode Mr. Bill's bike, and if there were 95 horses there, it was they were small horses. So I'm not buying it for a high horsepower bike. I'll tell you why I'm buying it later on. Just going around the bike, you can see that it has stock headers on. It looks like they need polishing because I think the first owner wrapped them with the tape. The second owner removed it, but you can see that there are some little dents, and I mean, not dents, but markings on that from there. It has a GPS slip-on exhaust system, which you probably heard, but I'll start it up and let you hear it again at idle. It supposedly was dyno tuned with the first owner. The seat height is really a reasonable 31.5 inches or 800 millimeters in the new money. It has a large 6.1 gallon tank, which is 23.1 liters, but it's a plastic tank, which means that I can't use ethanol in it unless I'm going to burn it all out, because these things will bulge up, which they had a tendency to do. The tank has a 1.1 gallon or 4 liter reserve on it, so that should give me plenty of room as far as I want to go anyway on one ride. Now, the bars aren't stock, but the stock bar is supposed to be 33 inches wide, and the second owner is giving me the second set of bars, and I'm going to look at that, but I'll discuss that during the changes. Two of the things the bike does not have that's really nice to have on a bike: it does not have heated hand grips, nor does it have a cruise control. There's buttons on the dash here. I think one of the buttons is for ABS, which it also does not have. I think the dashes were one of the weak spots for these particular bikes. From what I'm hearing, this dash doesn't look like it has been replaced. So it's lasted this long since 2008, so that's 14 years. So hopefully I got a good dash here. Suspension wise, the front forks are a 45 millimeter adjustable spring, preload, compression, and rebound dampening with 4.7 inches of travel, or 120 millimeters, which is pretty good. The rear shock is a Sachs shock with rebound and preload adjustment. It's still monoshock, so it's only one, with 5.5 inches of travel, or 140 millimeters. Hopefully that's not going to be worn out, and that's going to be good, but I don't know right now. So the front brakes are pretty good. I got a 4-piston Brembo floating caliper with brake lines and pedals, which I'm not fond of, rotors. There's a 320 millimeter rotors. The rear brake has a 2-piston Brembo on it at 282 millimeters, and it's floating also. So the brakes spec-wise should be pretty good. They're running on two 17-inch wheels at 120/70 on the front and a 180/55 on the rear. Both of these are Avons on cast wheels. The wheelbase is 58.5 inches or 1,486 millimeters, and the dry weight's 506 pounds or 229 kilos. So it's not going to be a lightweight, especially with 6 gallons of gas on it. So I'm thinking it's going to be 575 pounds if it's a pound. Of course, it's got the shaft drive on it. Looking at the foot pegs to the seat height to the seat, looks a little closer than I like. I'm going to do a measurement on these, but it looks like it's around 19.5 to 20 inches just looking at it. I'll confirm that. The bike comes with a couple of nice accessories. It's got these crash bars on it and the GVC clip small bags, which are pretty nice. It has a 6-speed transmission with a dry clutch. The dry clutch is it's a dual dry clutch. It has a halogen light headlight, but the rest of the bulbs are just standard. It's has a vinyl seat with a rear seat cowl and a grab handle. Now for the plans for this particular bike. It's pretty much going to be overlapping how I'm going to use it, where I'm going to use it, how I use the Thruxton for weekend rides and breakfast rides on the nice two-lane roads in Idaho. It's going to be a little bit more comfortable than the Thruxton, and even though it's going to overlap, it's certainly a different approach on the two different bikes. You're going to have a different vibe to them. Why you're getting a bike that does as similar things as your Thruxton are? Well, one, I've always wanted a Moto Guzzi, and it is a different approach. And two, put a different way of saying it. Let's look at a quarter-mile drag strip. It's 1,320 feet. If you break the track down, they're measured at the 60-foot, 330-foot, the 8th mile, 1,000 feet, and finally finish line at 1,320 feet. If you broke life down like that, I guess I would be between the 1,000 foot and the finish line. So I want to get the Guzzi experience for myself before I get to that finish line. Join me and my friends at Flat Cap Cafe Racer for riding and racing. Please subscribe.